Kalimera, everyone. Everyone's looking very fresh and relaxed after a lovely dinner, a lovely evening. I hope everyone slept well. It's always the highlight of my night personally. It's not about me, this summit, but I always enjoy the Thursday evening. It's always a lot of fun. Marios and Agasilos, again, thank you so much for putting on the event and the evening. Yes, please join me, of course. Welcome. Just finishing off, as I was saying, the evening, wonderful, just the coming together, the connections, and just great to spend some time with you all, some familiar faces, as I said yesterday, and great to meet and spend time with many new people as well. As the summit continues to build, yesterday we all discussed it was one of the most powerful days we've had at this summit in its 6th year, including the digital year, but it's really wonderful to see, and also wonderful to see the business that's taken place as well beyond the summit. And we look forward to coming together again next year and doing it again and seeing where we take our plans and projections to. So, Marius, we have a big day 2 planned.
That's right.
A little bit different with some room in the afternoon for some more in-depth discussions. We'll have more on that later on. But, gentlemen, if you'd like to open the day, we'll go from there.
Good morning, everybody.
Kalimera.
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 We are very happy. We already spent an amazing day yesterday. The weather today is with us, so it's definitely going to be an amazing second day. We are also very happy with Marios. We enjoyed in person yesterday in the dinner, and it was a great time. It's something for us much more important than you can imagine. And wish you the best for today. And thank you one more time. You've been with us.
Okay. And again, thank you very much, everybody. I think it was an incredible day, and that's because of you coming from all around the world to join us in this beautiful setting. Now, some of you may know this, but I want to emphasize that we're also the founders of the International Women's Football Historical Society, because not only is the present and the future so important to the game and to all of us, but we need to research, honor, preserve, and celebrate the incredibly rich history of women's football. It's a startup now because of what men have done to women's football for over 100 years, right? But it's as rich and as long a history as men have in women's football. And so we begin today with a video from someone who's just our first ever member of the International Women's Football Historical Society, Gail Newsham. Gail Newsham is the historian of the Kerr Ladies. The Kerr Ladies, back in the time during and after World War I, were drawing crowds of 30 and 40 and 50,000 fans, with fans being turned away at the turnstiles. And they were one of the reasons why there was the ban, the infamous ban of women's football by the English FA back in 1921, that then was taken on by 2/3 of all the federations in the world. So in England, women's football was effectively banned until 1971. Germany, 1970. Brazil, it was 1978 or 79, I forget the exact day. And so then when people tell us, oh, women's football is a startup, I have to correct them. All right? Women's football is the queen of sport and has been here from the beginning. So let's begin. And of course, we understand what they mean when they say it's a startup. It is a startup that we need to really push forward. But what we'd like to do now is turn it over to Gail Newsham to tell us a little bit from Preston, England.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful time in beautiful Greece at the Athens Women's Football Summit. I'm sorry I can't be there in person to enjoy the sunshine, but thank you, Marios, for giving me the opportunity of speaking to everyone today. I'm sure that you'll all be discussing the success and progress of the women's game, but I'm here to tell you that women's football is not a new phenomenon. It does have a rich and glittering history, which in my opinion should never be forgotten and certainly celebrated more widely. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Gail Newsham, former football player with Preston Rangers and author of In a League of Their Own, the official and original history of the Kerr Ladies. My book was first published in 1994. when really at that time nobody knew who the team was. But I'm proud to say that they're now recognised as probably the most important team in the history of women's football. They were formed during the First World War to raise funds for wounded soldiers, and their first match was played on Christmas Day 1917 at Deepdale, the home of Preston North End, and 10,000 people came to watch them, and they raised £600 for the wounded soldiers, the equivalent today of almost £50,000. They went from strength to strength, regularly playing in front of huge crowds, but perhaps their most famous match was the one played at Goodison Park, Everton, on the 26th of December 1920, when 53,000 people packed into the stadium to see them take on St Helens Ladies, and there were between 10 and 14,000 locked out and unable to gain admission. The success continued to grow throughout 1921, and they played 67 games of football for charity all over the British Isles while still working full-time at the factory. And 900,000 people came to watch them in that year alone. And they won every single match and raised lots of money for worthy causes. Despite their amazing success, on the 5th of December 1921, the FA banned ladies football and effectively changed the course of the women's game forever. They claimed to have received complaints regarding women playing football and expressed their strong opinion that the game of football was quite unsuitable for females and should not be encouraged. The ban remained in force for almost 50 years and was probably the biggest sporting injustice of the last century. But despite all the opposition and prejudice that came their way, against all the odds, the Kerr Ladies continued playing football until 1965, keeping the flame alive and continually inspiring other women to take up the game and form their own teams. However, there's still an underlying attitude to women playing football, certainly here in the UK, and despite all its success, generations of people have been brought up to believe that women shouldn't be playing football, which I believe is a direct throwback to the ban. The people who believe this simply aren't aware of the history, and it's my opinion that perhaps a little bit of education to tell them just how successful the women's football is might make them change their minds. But I grew up during a time when girls weren't allowed to play football, and lots of girls like myself had to be content playing in the street with the lads, never dreaming for 1 minute that women footballers would one day become professional. It's given me a great deal of joy to see the game grow into what it has become today, and England being back-to-back champions of Europe has been the icing on the cake. But we should never lose sight of the rich and glittering history that for so long has been football's best kept secret. What happened then is no less important than what's happening today. And I'd just like you to leave you with this little thought. As someone once said, if you don't know where you come from, how are you going to know where you're going? So thank you for your attention. I hope you've enjoyed hearing a little piece of women's football history. But if you'd like to learn more about the Kerr Ladies, you can visit my website, www.kerrladies.com, or you can get a copy of my book, which is available on Amazon, and this is the one that you want. There it is, in all its glory. So thank you again for letting me speak to you. Thank you, Marios, and have a wonderful, wonderful summit. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to take us to the back to the present. Thank you, Gail. That was really touching. And I'd like to let you know that we, for the second straight year, are also sponsored by the European Broadcasting Union. And for anyone who had the incredible opportunity to enjoy the European Champions of Football, Championship of Football that just concluded in Switzerland, you would have been seeing the product of their incredible work along with all their colleagues in all the different countries in which at record numbers the game was watched. I'd like to take a moment here to introduce you to Elsa Arapi, who is here. She is, I'll probably get your title all wrong, okay, but at least I knew you as the Senior Sports Rights Manager, Women in Sport Project Lead for the EBU, but I'll turn it over to you now so you can tell me more.